And it's the Friday edition of New Day. I am Anthony Jackson. Let's go straight to the news. Coming up this morning, the ministerial reshuffle has been announced. And there's no change in law on same-sex marriage. From the GRA, there's no extension on tax amnesty after August 31st deadline. And blanket amnesty for South Sudan rebels, including Riek Machar. Saudi-led strike kills dozens of children on school field trip in Yemen. Now, following the announcement of the ministerial reshuffle, the new energy minister, John Peter Mewu, says his duty will be to ensure that electric power is available and affordable to all Ghanaians. Reacting to the first major reshuffle by President Akufo-Addo, the outgoing land and natural resource minister says the president acted in good faith, adding his successor is capable of holding the task he is leaving behind.
His Excellency Nana Addo knows the caliber of people within this party that will render services. So I don't think that assertion is quite true. I have no idea about that at all. All the people he placed in power in various positions were done with his experience. Don't forget the president that we have, has been in this game for over 40 years. And so he has an experience and he knows what is good for this country. We are always asking all Ghanaians, to come on board to help the government in its agenda. The power sector is very key. The petroleum sector is key. And so we expected that if we are able to stabilize and make power more affordable to the citizens, those areas that have not been accessible for power, we are able to grant them affordable electricity. Then, of course, the growth that we are expected, to see will become very feasible for everybody. The petroleum sector, there's quite a lot to be done. There are huge prospective, basins that are still left untapped. You are aware of the Volta basins, so there are going to be an aggressive attempt for further explorations along those basins. Areas that the explorations have already been done and some level of discovery. Of course, we're going to encourage more of the companies to see how they can drill more wells. In the oil sector, drilling of more wells, of course, give an indication that there's something going to be good in terms of how much barrels we bring out, on a daily basis. The more barrels we bring out, the more revenue, of course, comes to government. So we should be able to discover more prospective wells for future explorations. Yeah. Well, interestingly, what people don't know in this country is that this government is one of the collaborative government ever in the history of this country. We work as a team. And that is what His Excellency the President always, impress upon his ministers. So it's a teamwork. So you see one minister in another place playing a supporting role to the other. So it's a collective responsibility. We don't see ourselves as a single minister, responsible and delivering. So that collaborative effort, of course, will be there. And whatever expertise I have, leaving this ministry, of course, I have to help my colleague. Tremor is a very good minister. He's been in the BA, he's been a former regional chairman, it's a lawyer by profession, and he has all the caliber to deliver where that he's been asked to come. So we need to give him the necessary support.
Now, President Akufo-Addo says government has no intention to change the law on same-sex marriage in the country. Speaking at the Global Evangelical Church 2018 Synod in Accra, the president charged the church to work with government to raise the pace of development.
The General Secretary of the Christian Council of Ghana, Cyril Fayose, charged the church to develop new rules and regulations to deal with the decay in churches and ensure sanity.
A conversation on the need for religious regulations in our country is therefore inevitable. The church must step up discussions on how to regulate the establishment and activities of churches in order to drastically reduce the abominable practices in our churches. Some time ago, the governments of the day tried to regulate church activities. and the Christian Council and other councils stood vehemently against it. But I think it's about time we do some self-regulation ourselves.
He commended the governor of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Ernest Addison, for sweeping reforms he has undertaken and for the exposure of corrupt practices in the banking sector. The moderator of the Global Evangelical Church, Reverend Setowu Kwajo Ofori, urged President Akufo-Addo not to bow to international pressure on calls for the legalization of same-sex marriage in Ghana. President Akufo-Addo told the church not to be worried as his government will not legalize the phenomenon.
And let me assure that this government has no plans to change the law on same-sex marriage. We have no authority, and we will not seek any authority to do so.
The president urged the church not to display affluent lifestyles so as to further ignite the debate about the imposition of taxes on churches.
The public looks on, and some of the churches appear to forget about the poor and the vulnerable in our society and concentrate on being outrageous. It is not surprising that there are calls for taxes to be imposed on church incomes. When you step out of the charity sphere, out of education and out of healthcare, you're putting yourself in the line of the taxman.
The Global Evangelical Church has a membership of about 135,000 congregants, 289 ministers in active service, and 870 congregations spread throughout the country.
Now, an investigative report has emerged detailing the operations of the now defunct UT and Capital banks. The report has revealed that directors and shareholders engaged in willful deceit. The report triggered by the inability of the two banks to turn around their negative capital adequacy position, which has lingered on for some time now.
Fresh revelations by the Bank of Ghana have detailed what auditors term willful deceit on the part of shareholders and directors of defunct UT and Capital banks. The examination and inspection report by Builders and Advisors Limited also found that there was a significant amount of intergroup lending within the two banks. Detailing their findings on UT and Capital banks, the report said Capital Bank was a web of transactions involving insider parties, that is, directors, shareholders, and their related companies. On March 30, 2016, the CEO of Capital Bank wrote to the head of banking supervision requesting a non-existent investment of $482.4 million to be converted into a 5-year debt. The Banking and Supervision Department of the Bank of Ghana, in a letter dated June 3, 2016, to the Managing Director of Capital Bank, said the Bank of Ghana granted approval in principle for the non-existent investment of $482.4 million to be structured in a loan facility to be paid by the following shareholders over a period not to exceed 5 years: Atu Asian, Ohiniba Oseya Kutu, Stephen Encho, and Kingsley Atagansa. This action, granted by the Bank of Ghana, could have been avoided in 2015 when the risk assessment report indicated that no capital had been introduced into the bank for the Class 1 license. Regarding UT Bank, the report said 2 payments were made to the former CEO and director, Prince Kofi Amoabing, from a loan defaulting entity, Kofi Jobs Limited. The loans total $5 million and were never disclosed to the board of the bank. There was a significant amount of intergroup lending involving other subsidiaries of the holding company, UT Holdings, 71.6 million Ghana cedis and $14.3 million US dollars. Connected party loans were also made to Ibrahim Mohammed's related companies, amounting to 261.4 million Ghana cedis and $6.4 million US dollars. Quincy Sintim's related companies amounting to 84.1 million Ghana cedis and Beige Group's related companies amounting to 10.9 million Ghana cedis.
And now an Accra Circuit Court has granted the police officer who allegedly assaulted a woman at Midland Savings and Loans, Lance Corporal Goji Frederick Amano, bail in the sum of 60,000 cedis with 2 sureties. 3 others, Joycelyn Kukua, the operations manager, Shelley Portia Anaman, customer care officer, and Prince Ayensu, a driver of the company, were also granted bail on the same terms.
Prosecutor DSP George Amega, in his submission to the court, said Kukua called the police officer to drag the victim out when the victim called her for assistance. Portia Anaman, according to the prosecution, recorded a video of the incident while Ayensu, the driver, assisted the police officer to drag the victim out of the banking hall. Fresh charges were preferred after the initial charge was withdrawn. Counsel for the police officer Kweku Ajay-Lati said Section 73 of the Court Act allows for an out-of-court settlement. Lance Corporal Amano was charged with assault while the 3 others were charged with abetment. The court, presided over by Jean Harriet Akwilekwe, adjourned the case to August 30, 2018.
Now, the Ghana Revenue Authority says it has begun investigating various churches across the country who have turned their fellowships into money-making ventures. Commissioner General Kofi Inti says 25% of the penalty for defaulting churches will be given to informants who are able to report such churches to the authority.
According to the Commissioner General, some churches who own businesses and earn an income are already tax compliant. However, they believe some are still hiding to do business and not pay taxes from what they earn. He said such churches will be taxed based on their level of business transactions.
But then, those who demonstrate that they are having some posh houses and are having a pool of cars in their homes, and they are profit something, we are trailing them, and we are after them. And time will come when we will be able to say, look, we went after maybe an angel, we went after an apostle, and we went after a prophet and the rest. When it comes to their tithes and then the offerings, those areas, we believe they are no-go areas for the GRA. And that one is understandable. So outside of that, the church is treated like any other person.
Already, there has been growing debate on the need for churches to pay taxes, considering the luxurious life some of these church leaders exhibit on a daily basis. The Commissioner General has cautioned income-earning persons to abide by all the tax laws.
We don't know of anything that we call illegal money. Well, we can make it anyhow you make it. We will have to come for to the sense that it's an income. We will come for it. Every taxpayer has a civic responsibility, a social responsibility to meet his tax obligations, and we shouldn't look at others and say because of what is happening with others, I'm not paying my tax.
The GRA says there will be no extension on the tax amnesty granted businesses after the August 31st deadline.
Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta in the mid-year budget review proposed some taxes which has been subsequently passed by Parliament into law. The Value-Added Tax, the National Health Insurance Amendment Act, the Ghana Education Trust Fund, and the Income Tax. Giving a breakdown of how the taxes will be applied by the authority, the Commissioner General said a modified invoice of these new taxes will be out soon for the taxpayer.
A modified Commissioner General's invoice on which VAT and NHIL and the Ghana Fund levy are collected has been designed and will come into use very soon. Pending the coming to use of the modified Commissioner General's invoice, taxpayers can continue to use the old VAT invoice.
On the Income Tax Amendment Act, he debunked speculation on the 35% tax charge on earnings above 10,000 cedis per month.
The implication of this is that for salaried workers or employees whose chargeable income exceeds 10,000 per month or 120,000 per annum, the excess above the 10,000 per month or 120,000 per annum will be taxed at 35%. Let me emphasize that it is not the whole salary which would attract the 35% rate as speculated, but the excess.
The Commissioner General again prompted income earners and businesses on the implications of evasion and default after the August 31 deadline.
GRA will go after all persons who fail to take advantage of the opportunity. All the appropriate sanctions provided in the various tax acts, including prosecutions, will be visited on tax evaders and defaulters to make sure that all citizens contribute their quota to nation building.
The Minister for Special Development Initiative has chided local government authorities in the Brekum West District for not involving traditional authorities and residents in implementing development projects ongoing in the district. The minister is on tour of some project sites in the Middle Belt comprising Eastern, Bonohafo and the Ashanti regions.
Under the 1 million per constituency funding, the district is getting water and toilet facilities of the government's 70% priority projects of the fund. At Jenejene in the Brekum West constituency of the newly created district, a 10-seater biodigestion toilet facility is under construction. Solar-powered limited mechanized boreholes are also at various levels of completion. The chief and residents lamented the local development authorities did not involve them in the planning and siting of the project.
At least the leader of the town there, as I said, a project.
If you are coming for someone's land to site a project, you should have at least informed me. Now, the citizens are accusing me of giving out land meant for the construction of a market for a different project. Is
it fair?
The Minister for Special Development Initiative, Hawa Kumsin, apologized to the chief and people on behalf of the local authorities.
Nana, we plead for your forgiveness. I will make sure the MPs and assemblies come to you and brief you about any projects in the community.
They are involved. Am I involved in Nana? Anything paying for?
The coordinating director of the new district, without a chief executive, would not speak to the news team. The minister also blamed the MP and the assembly members.
I wouldn't understand why a member of parliament will be in the constituency. We have an assemblyman, we have the rest of the MP, that they could not come to the chief to even inform him that such a project is coming on. How did they even get their land? That is my question. So sometimes we need to do the right thing.
At Sampa in the German North constituency, party executives, chiefs and community members also revealed they were not aware of the water and toilet project ongoing in their community. The minister charged the local government authorities who are responsible for the 1 million per constituency project to adopt the participatory development model to enable them achieve satisfactory results.
As is some international news now, dozens of children, many younger than 15, were killed in a Saudi-led coalition airstrike that hit a school bus in northern Yemen on Thursday, according to the Houthi-controlled health ministry. The children were on a field trip when their bus was struck at a market, the first stop on the day. 50 were killed and 77 injured, according to the ministry. Most of the children were inside the bus when the airstrike hit, according to a local medic. Well, that's it for the news for this morning. New Day returns shortly after the break.
Welcome back. Let's take a look at our front pages. The Weekend Today newspaper says Men's Gold exposes PMMC over revoked license claims. And Nana keeps all 110 ministers as he reshuffles 15. I will never legalize homosexuality, Akufo-Addo says, in spite of the fact that the laws will never change. And trending designs to spice up your style. There you have it. A beautiful kente cloth. And I don't know what they call this. Brenda, any idea? Okay. The Ghanaian Times says Men's Gold dismisses PMMC claims of illegal gold trading. It comes with a photo of lawyer Kwame Kufo. Krobo's demo against siting of Environment University campus at Bonso. And we won't legalize homosexuality, according to the president. Plus, no casualties. That's the screaming headline. As president makes 15 changes in maiden cabinet reshuffle. So people are moving around. Kofi Addo has moved to aviation. Cecilia Dapa has moved to sanitation. In that order, you know. Daily Graphic. Shake up in government. Abdul Hamid for Inner City. He's a Zongo minister now. And upon Nkrumah promoted to full minister for information. It's no same-sex marriage. President declares at Global Evangelical Synod. And arrest and prosecute officials behind banking scandal. Christian Council. No law stops us from commodity trading, according to Men's Gold. The statement says Men's Gold fights PMMC over gold business. And reshuffle at last. Otiko flies out. She's going to Italy. Mustafa moves to Zongo. Cecilia Dapa, Kofi Addo swap places. And depopulate prisons to facilitate rehabilitation. President Akufo-Addo to the prison service. I think that should have gone to the law courts instead. And Nana drops Otiko in cabinet reshuffle. Stop begging Martin Amidu. Nana tells corrupt officials. Finally, the BNFT for today. Public debt to reach 72.4% of GDP. Moody's cost banking sector to blame. And Bank of Ghana must apply the law to restore lost confidence. Lawyer Adangwene. That's all. Okay. There's one more, finally. 3 new ministers appointed. Okay. So there you have it. And policeman in Midland assault granted 60,000 cedis bail. Ignore tax amnesty at your own peril. GRA boss is warning there. Those are the front page stories. Okay. Interesting.
But the way the Ghanaian Times puts the story.
No casualties.
Is it really a no casualty situation? I mean, if you lived in the comfort of your home with your family in Accra and you were asked to go to Italy to become an ambassador, I guess it's a bit, for me, it's a casualty. I mean,
is it?
Look, I mean, you are in your home, your family is around you, the extended family, your friends, your loved ones. You can eat your kinky and fish and stuff like that.
Okay.
And then all of a sudden they said, okay, pack your bag, go to Italy. You might end up eating certain things that you're not very used to. And
pasta
yes,
and things.
And stuff like that. Is it not a casualty?
Well, I mean, if you look at it like that, fine. But, I mean, to the extent that, you know, the Honorable former Minister for Gender still gets to serve, you know, in government or as an operative of government, well, some don't see it as a demotion. For me, I'm thinking what went into moving Mr. Kofi Addo from the sanitation ministry and swapping him with Cecilia Dapa, who many think was doing very, very well at the aviation sector. And you're wondering what exactly is it. Many are thinking, well,
the idea behind it.
Yes, what's the idea really behind it? Then you realize there's another swap. Perry Akujato moves to the sports ministry, and then Pius moves to the information ministry. You're wondering what could have necessitated the swap. But hey, as it is, it's the president's prerogative.
Right.
But shocking though, that you have Honorable Siddiq Minister for Zongo.
The Zongo guys.
Moved now to the office of the Vice President. What exactly to do, I don't know. And it looks as if that's the very first time we're having a minister designated to the office of the Vice.
And so when the Times says no casualties, I'm a bit not too impressed about it, because a home minister with that, and then you're asked to become a minister of state at the office of the Vice President. I see it as a casualty. He might not have been asked to go home completely, but for me, it could be a plan. The Vice President might need a few people to maybe do one or two things. So,
but the Vice President has the economic management team. That's a tall list already.
I don't know
and the Vice President has the Vice President has it has special assistants. There's a full doctor of economics who is also deputizing the Vice. So exactly. So I'm wondering what the Honorable Siddiq is going to be doing at the office of the Vice President now that he's been moved there. Because look, for a man who knows how to rally the grassroots, if you will, for a man who said to have been doing very well at the Zongo ministry, and then he's moved from there and taken to the Vice President office. For what exactly?
Well, wait to see. So how many ministers do we have now? 111?
Well, I've seen some
because the finder says that 3 new ministers appointed. Now, one goes off, 3 added. Let's do the mathematics. So 3 minus 1 is 2.
Yeah.
Suggesting that now we have 111 instead of 110.
But the argument has been that it's still 110.
No, it's not. It's not.
It's 111.
You see, it's 111 because Bukari, who's been removed as Roxin Bukari as the Upper East Regional Minister, is still a minister at the office of the President.
Right.
So the only one out is Mr. Jakun.
Yeah.
Now 3 new ones. Martin Oti, who is, I think, the deputy somewhere.
Okay.
And then bringing Paulina, who is, and then Madam Cynthia, means that you have taken Ejakun out, but these 2 have come in. So if you take 1 from these 2, you have added 1 more. So now we have 111. But the information we are picking is that the first list is only the beginning of what is to come.
So many Ghanaians were hoping that there would have been a trim down
downsize
of the government. It doesn't look like there's going to be a trim down, if you will, because we spoke about the information ministry, and we're talking about the number of deputies that you have there. 3 deputies, isn't it?
Right.
Now, with Kojo elevated, you will have 2.
Right, and Perry out.
We'll have 2 there. I don't know if another addition will be done.
I suspect the president is not thinking about that. I mean, once Perry is out, I think he will want to maintain. Is it Madame Dokuya and the other deputy? What is his name?
Pius.
No, Pius is being moved now.
Yes.
So
it used to be Perry, Kojo, and Dokuya.
Right.
So now that Kojo is Minister for Information designate, then it leaves us with Perry and Dokuya. Because Pius, Perry is moved to the Sports Ministry, so Pius and Dokuya.
Right, so let's see how it goes. But we're told this is just the beginning. We might see some more shuffling in a couple of days, I guess, the president's job. So that's it. But on the other side, this Kofi T's issue about taxing churches, I'm not too excited about Mr. Kofi T and his team. And I mean, there's nothing wrong. Look, I'm saying that the churches are already paying taxes. Those who are running schools, universities, primary schools, bookshops, and printing houses, they're already paying taxes. So when he goes after them, as he is suggesting, I really don't know what he is talking about. Now, listen to radio. You hear this shrines or malams and all of them,
and everything.
Advertising, asking for people to bring in money and come and take one thing or the other. And yet he is not talking about them. He's only talking about the churches. Why the churches alone? So you have always raised a concern about masons and carpenters and
plumbers
and artisans who are working. And look at how much we pay every 2 years.
Yeah.
We pay 20,000, 25,000, 30,000 to landlords,
yes.
and they don't pay taxes. Nobody goes to collect
them.
And yet he's sitting here talking about churches. I'm not saying the churches should not pay tax, but if you want to go after the churches, please go after the other people who also matter.
Yeah.
The landlords and landladies who are taking rent advances without paying taxes, the masons, the plumbers, and all that.
Take the taxes from them. Plus, if you want to tax the churches, go to the shrines and tax them.
Exactly.
In fact, there's no way you can set up a church, without registering the church, okay? But most of these shrines are not even registered.
The herbal centers.
They just start and they just start operating and they start advertising. So, Mr. Kofi, go after them if you want to make money. Plus, I also think, look, coconut sellers, we don't focus on them. How much is one coconut now? 2 cedis, 50 pesos, right?
Right.
Now, if they were paying income tax on every 2 cedi, 50 pesos, you think we will make money? The GRA is not looking where they are supposed to be looking.
Yeah, I think so.
The finance minister is not looking.
I think because, look, I think they are looking at a few churches in Accra, Kumasi, Cape Coast, Takrady, where you find these churches, the leaders driving in huge vehicles, they're putting up huge structures and using all kinds of equipment that are very expensive. Go to the rural communities and see. These churches are those caring for the underprivileged ones. They are not even making enough from the Sunday collection. And so when you try to suggest that you want to go in and it is like the church and not other people, for me, it's a bit worrying. I'm not saying the church should not pay, but don't focus on the church. There are other areas you need
I
to
agree
focus.
to a certain extent that, look, there are some of the churches that take mobile money and say,
and that's in Accra,
pay 300 and come and take a number and come for consultation. That one you can charge them money on those ones. But then don't make it a general rule. And oftentimes when the tax experts talk about the private sector, they are talking about somebody who has been able to set up a small internet cafe or a small comm center or a small design shop, and then they go to them because they are registered. But the informal sector is actually wider than we think. Look, there are so many people, cobblers, everybody else. And if you work in America, unless you are not, you are below the poverty line, then nobody comes to you for tax. But once we decide that they are not below the poverty line, we should do the proper assessment and tax them. Look, if somebody sells coconut and sells 100 coconuts a day,
how much is
at
that?
2 cedis 50 pesos times 5 days or 6 days, multiply the income and tell me if that person doesn't earn more than somebody sitting in an office.
In the office at work. So let's see more action from GRA. And then the president suggesting that people should stop begging Martin Amidu. I think that Mr. Martin Amidu, for me, I think that he's not doing himself any good by coming to tell Ghanaians that people are begging him. Look, your father, your son or your daughter is engaged in some wrongdoing. Punishment is to serve as a deterrent. So his auntie or her uncle or his uncle can come in and say, look, forgive him. What you do is that you listen, but you take your own decision, because the punishment is supposed to deter your other children from doing same. So Mr. Martin Amidu coming out to tell Ghanaians that people are begging pastors and malams and whatever, for me, it's not news. You have a mandate, you have a job, the president is giving you all you need. If you indeed you have it, go ahead and do the prosecution. Yeah. The Osofo can come and say that, look, forgive Johnny, he's a member of our church. You listen, but you take your decision. Okay, so Mr. President, don't waste your breath asking people not to go to Mr. Martin. You have given him a job. His duty is to do the job. Those who have engaged in corrupt practices, you should go ahead and punish them, despite the fact that the Osofos and Malams and Sheikhs are coming. That's it.
I think that Mr. Martin Amidu coming out to say that people are begging him seeks to suggest that, look, he's looking for some bit of attention. I don't think that it was any right for it to have come out, if you ask me. But yeah, I mean, on the flip side, why are people going to him to beg him? If you know you haven't done anything, why do you go and beg?
But Johnny, the point is that even if they're coming to beg you, your job is to investigate corrupt practices and punish those involved. They can come and beg. And like the analogy I used, I said, you're a parent. Yeah. Your daughter or son is engaged in some wrongdoing. His uncle or her uncle will come and say, oh, forgive Ikuya, forgive John, forgive Kwame. Yes, you listen. But you take that, you exact that punishment because you want to deter your other kids from doing same or that same child from committing the same offense. Right. So you listen, but don't come and tell us what you are telling us to do. What? So they are begging you, so we should do what?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know at all. No. But we wish them well. Right. We wish them well. We're ranting, aren't we? Okay, let's take a spot of music. It's Friday. When we return, we'll rant. And later in the show, Patapa will be here on this very set. But let's go to Takrady. What are they saying about the ministerial reshuffle? Eric and the team has more. The folks in Takrady have been ranting about the ministerial reshuffle. We want to cross over shortly to them to find out what exactly their views are. Were they excited? Were they surprised? Were they shocked? What is it? Did the changes they were anticipating come to the fore? What exactly is on their mind on this very Friday morning, a day after the presidential reshuffle? Let's go to Eric now.
His government. They are in the form of an ambassadorial position, ministers of state, and some regional ministers. Earlier report by TV3NEWDAY that the likes of John Peter Amewu, Abubakar Sadiq will all receive changes in their ministerial portfolio have come to pass. Unfortunately, one leg of the speculation that didn't come to pass is the expectation that the rather elephant-sized government of 110 will be reduced to around 80 and 90. Didn't come to pass. Indeed, a new office at the office of the vice president has been created. This is where Boniface Sadiq is headed. This morning on Daily Rant, where we are coming to you live from Takrady, we want to find out whether these changes are in order. This is your Daily Rant. Woman, oh,
reshuffle there. Maybe who is a cry because Abana Kasana, the now the Danko Kuford Edano. Abana are confused. In the first place, sir, Bruni because the elephant-sized government in the first place, and Sessan and Akufo or forming our government in the crime. So where country is Nigeria? Nigeria, there are over 170 million population. Omo ministers around 36. Yes, Aneta. Very good. That's our Ghana 28. Where China over 1.3 billion. All ministers 20 pe. Let's say my munam say cash one two say cash in the end open tea. Now create a big size of government. Even some of the ministries needless, useless, unnecessary. Ministry of Procurement, Ministry of Planning. Eric Sao call various MMDAs. Every MMDA biano planning unit and a planning department. Omo procurement department. And this also called team Ministry of Planning. And your job for the boys now. That's how you way. That's how a Mary Boachaja con a Mary deal Labana and Mguasiabano for 1%. Ye ja Mary in Semne Kana ye can't reshuffle. Eric, me, I don't get it. In the first place, we shouldn't have even been discussing this. Because government Nankasana or Nankasan a failure. A failure in the sense that even getting mushroom ministry. Number one, you pay. A minister is taking somewhere 15,900 cedis plus the Bangola allowance, the watchman, the security. Cars, I'm told they are stand to be corrected. I'm told that every minister has about 4 cars available to him over to media the various rounds.
I think that I'm disappointed in him. So today that we are discussing about the salaries of ministers of state, we should not be hypocrites. What the president has done is normal in government. from the 50s to now, every government reshufflement is normal. Indeed, if you read the Constitution, Article 78 actually allows the president to pick the number of ministers that he believes he can deliver the goods. To me, they are very on course. The government is on course. They are doing very well. But what the Ghanaian people have not seen is that if you look at the last 19 months of this government, they have invested a lot into consumption. That is investing in the people.
Let's look at the reshuffle that happened yesterday. Are they in order? Looking at the names that have been mentioned and where they are headed.
Yeah, indeed, if you do auditing of their backgrounds, I believe that many of them are going to their core domains that they can perform creditably. If you look at Amewu, he has been in the energy sector for a while. He's a co-founder of the Africa Center for Energy Policy. If you look at Pius, who was the Deputy Minister for Youth and Sport, he has been in communication of the party for a long time. And I believe that it will give government, it will boost government level. It's about targets. And remember, for this reshuffle that the president just did, they have done auditing, monitoring. They have done total monitoring evaluation of all the government appointees. It's based upon that the president has done this. This is the first part. There will be second part that will be coming. It's to boost the governance level and then to be able to achieve targets. That is it. You see, one thing that people ought to look at is that if you talk to any governance expert, massive reshufflement in government actually disorganizes government programs, policies and interventions. So you don't necessarily do an arbitrary reshufflement. You need to be more strategic and then you do it. Indeed, the president has been more strategic and he has done due diligence in doing this reshufflement. It's normal in government, but as to how you do it, you cannot say that we're having 110, so the president will bring the 110 to about 60. No, it disorganizes government. We don't do that. Now the government is well focused. He's working. All the policies that he have put in place, you will see the actualization. So to me, it's normal.
He says that the ministerial reshuffle is strategic.
Strategic to them. You were about stealing our money. This America, you were about stealing and looting the country. And we caught them. It is because we caught them. That is what has caused the Nana Akufo-Addo to immediately cause this reshuffle thing he's talking about. Look at the former Bunahafo regional minister, Asuma Chireme. Is he not the one that Abronye, their own regional vice chairman, came out to say that he's very corrupt? You didn't investigate him. How can you carry such a corrupt person in quotes? I'm quoting Abronye. How can you carry this corrupt person? Instead of you to sack him, you rather push him to another position. That you should go and continue with his corrupt activities. How can you do that? Eric, how can you do that? So I feel that Nana Akufo-Addo is just playing some political gimmick for people to sway our minds from the American, the loot. You remember when the 2018 budget was prepared? They planned to loot us with from the 2018 budget, where even a website alone, they quoted about 8 billion old Ghana cedis, website alone, creation of a website. And you remember hiring of a facility to house a ministry. I'm coming.
I understand.
What I want to put across is that the reshuffle that is in place now is as a result of the corrupt activity of this American innovation thing. That is what has caused Nana to bring about this reshuffle, because he knows that Ghanaians will be talking about it. But now that reshuffle has come, we will leave the American innovation and begin to talk about reshuffle. You tomorrow, see, if you go to the various media houses, it is reshuffle they will be talking about. They will leave the American stealing, American armed robbery, and begin to talk about this thing. So the whole thing is a shame. Eric, let me repeat this. Let me repeat it. In the second place, somebody will say in the first place, I've dealt with that one. In the second place, this size of government shouldn't have been there at all. That is why in my preamble, in my initial comment, I said that if you go to a country like China, almighty China, 1.37 billion, their ministers are only about 20. If you go to Nigeria, Nigeria is more populous than every country in Africa. I stand to be correct. Which country? Is it not Nigeria? Their ministers, how many ministers do they have? 36. And you come to Ghana, small country like our country. Please, 1 minute. Small country like Ghana, you create 110 ministers.
I think you've already stated this point.
What kind of life is this?
Mr. Peter Amewu, his works at the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources. This is the person who is behind the banning on small-scale mining. Now he's being moved to Energy Ministry, a different ministry. Are we not going to lose the fight at the Lands and Natural Resource Ministry?
Oh no, but before that, you see, we have comparability problem in this country. If you are talking about Nigeria ran a federal system. You see, the framers of the constitution, they were more strategic and wise. That is why they did not actually come out with a specific number a president need to run in government. If you read Article 78. So we should be very careful when we do this comparison elsewhere. Comparability problem will be a problem. Let us look at the situation and then we'll discuss. I think it's not a problem. Government is focused, it's a government policy. As I talk to you now, there's an interministerial committee that is coordinating these activities, Ogalamse. So Amewu moving to Energy Ministry will not actually thwart the government agenda of dealing with the illegal mining in the country. It's a whole teamwork, it's a government policy, and the government is focused. If you look at the background of the Brown Afro regional minister coming to the lands, and it's not bad. He has some background law in this land tenure systems and others, and he's well matured. He's a very mature person.
What about Otiku Afisejaba? The fact that he's been given a different and completely new portfolio.
You see, it's about the president's strategy and vision, and that is what we are not looking at. The president ought to deliver. So at a point in time where you can go and play a critical role, you go. Remember, this government is not a 6 months government. We are going to our midterm. It's a midterm government. And once a midterm government, the government ought to take certain strategic decisions for people who can be able to anchor and push a lot of things. Otiko is very smart, a good lobbyist, and once she's going to Italy, she can do a lot of lobbying for the country. It's about the caliber of the person and the agenda of the government within point in time. And that is what the president has done.
Eric, you see, it's as if I keep repeating myself. I'm not repeating myself. I'm hitting on the points. This government is a failure, and it has to be changed. Fortunately, our country, this military thing, we don't do it here. We are a mature country. If you talk about democracy in Africa, Ghana stands tall. So we don't do certain things. We are only waiting for 2020 to come for us to change this thing. Eric, Amewu is a failure. So it is a failure. So far as this Galamsey thing is concerned, Amewu is a failure. I am shocked my brother is here, ranting. Amewu has done this, the government. We are in their midterm, what. Eric, I do a bit of chemistry. We have something called litmus tests. That is what we use to test some of the chemicals, especially acids. In law, they talk about evidence. Is that not it? It is the evidence that will prove whether a case is credible or not. Okay? So we either talk about litmus tests or evidence. If this man says Amewu has done well, we have a lot of rivers in the Western region. They claim they were stopping Galamsey so that our river bodies will be clean. Is that not it? We have Biposu here, Prayer here. I go and check. We moved to somewhere Elambele to do one or two things. Eric, go to Ankobra, go and check Ankobra. TV3, your cameras are here. We don't have to be speculating. TV3, take it upon yourself. I believe nationally, internationally, everybody is watching us. TV3, carry your cameras and go to Ankobra. Go and see the river. And go and see it for yourself. And come and sit here next week and judge whether Amewu has performed creditably or not. The government is a failure. Amewu is a failure. Akufo-Addo is a failure. My brother here, who is also a communicator in the MPP, is also a failure. So far as I'm saying is concerned. Go and see. People are having small-scale miners come out to issue a statement. There are some big wigs in the MPP are also doing the Galamsey. You stop people from getting their daily bread and you pass behind and start doing it. Now you come and sit here and tell us that, Nana has done well, Amewu has done well, our government has, you have failed.
Let's look at somebody like Opon Nkrumah. He's been promoted. I think that it's a step in the right order.
Yeah, that is why I'm saying that this changing portfolios is strategic. He has fine rapport with the media men and women. He speaks fine. He listens, very humble. One of the ways to be able to move the masses with you is to have a good communicator who can be able to gel with the media people so that government programs and policies and interventions will be able to go down there. And I think he's best, and I know him, and I think that things will be okay.
Eric, is it not this same? What is Opon Nkrumah bringing? Is it not this same Opon Nkrumah in 2017 when the CD to the dollar was hovering around 4 cedis 50 pesos? Opon Nkrumah came out to tell us that the CD was hovering around 38. How do we call it? Pesos. He's only coming to churn out misinformation. Opon Nkrumah is not coming to do anything. CD hovering around. This is a fact.
It's not true.
This is a fact. The CD was hovering around 45 pesos.
But that's only one example.
How many examples do you need to credit somebody, Eric? How many examples do you need to credit somebody?
Okay, so
he's only coming to churn out misinformation. What is he coming to do?
So this has been your daily rant with me, Eric Ode from Takrade. You can go onto our various social media platforms and post your comments there. Thank you so much for spending your morning with us.
If we take a look at the newspapers, most all of them have the reshuffle story. Pictures of some of those moved around here. On the Daily Guide, Madam Otiko Jaba, Madam Cynthia Morrison, Kojo Opon Nkrumah, Madam Paulina Abayege, Pius Ajide, and Mr. Perry Kujet, all of them. Their photographs here. The Ghanaian Times has 4 of them, also on the front page. The Finder has 3 of the new the faces we have, 3 new ones. Madam Paulina Abayege, Madam Cynthia Morrison, and then Mr. Martin Jaco here. Daily Graphic, 5 of them, those reshuffled, all of them here. So this morning, conversation was centered around that. We also take a look at the banking sector, particularly what caused by the Christian Council to have those involved arrested and prosecuted, and also the issue at the Krobo area, some demonstration regarding the location of a university. My guest this morning to do the talking, government spokesperson on infrastructure, member of the NPP, Richard Asante-Yeboah is here. Good morning.
Good morning.
Hope you're doing great.
By the grace of God.
Thanks for your time. I also have a Deputy Communications Director of the NDC. He's vying for a new position, National Communications Officer. What? Is that the position? Right. National Communications Officer. Fred Agbinyo is also here. Good morning too. Good morning. Hope you're doing great. Thanks for your time. Let's start. Richard, let me certainly give you the chance. I mean, we heard it was coming. It has come. How's the presidency feeling about what has happened?
Thank you very much, and I say good morning to your cherished viewers. I would want to say that in terms of the mood of the country, the mood of the government, the mood of the presidency, it is about trying to make sure that it delivers on the promises or the manifesto promises to the good people of this country. So anything that would inure to that, anything that would make sure that we deliver and accomplish our mandate before the 4 year come to an end. That is what this government is trying to do. At every given time of every government, you ought to find opportunity to engineer some momentum and also steam into the government, and also to realign some of the ministers and try and see how you can focus on delivering. So far, so good. But then there's more room for improvement, and that requires that we need to readjust and also reassess some of the ministers and position them at certain places for strategic reasons and also to achieve a particular end. And I think that His Excellency, the President, has taken a very bold decision trying to work around things and also give us a new sort of individuals to man the various ministries and also some to go and deputize others in other ministries. Others will have been sent to go and take out some diplomatic duty, and some brought in to help government achieve its manifesto promises to the good people of this country, because we are a group of people, or the MPP and the president for that matter, believes that the more you honor your promises, the more vulnerable they become. So you want to stick to the promises that you made to the good people of this country. That is why you realize that we promise the people that when we come in, we are going to grant them free education. Government has started it and it's ongoing. We told them that when we come, you're paying excessively in terms of electricity. We'll give you some level of respite. Government came in, we have given residential consumers 17.5, non-residential consumers 30% reduction. We've given industry 25, mining sector 10%. It tells you that government is looking at achieving and also delivering on its promises. We told the nurses that when we come, we are restoring your allowances. Same applied to the teachers. Came in, nursing training and teacher training allowance has been restored. We told the good people of this country that when we come, we will engineer a new office that will help fight corruption, the Office of the Special Prosecutor. We even went out of our fold to our brothers in the NDC and picked one of them that we believe that has the charisma, has the needed impetus and with the required expertise to fight it and help this government achieve same. And he's in and he's working. Government is working around the clock to develop the various infrastructure across the country. There are a good number of things that this government is doing to make sure that at least at the end of the day, this country becomes the country all of us will be proud of. And I do believe that these men and women who have been picked by the president to take care of various ministries and also as ambassadors and others, and who make sure that we get what our money worth. Beyond that, there's a particular structure coming to the president. We realize that in the though we know that in the course of time, you will see that there will be another reshuffle that would come to
that's the expectation.
To steam up other things and also to literally do further realignment as the day and the months progress. But there's another thing that I want Ghanaians to focus our mind and attention on. We realize that there can be a government that comes in and takes possibly 10 or 50 or 80 ministers. But at the end of the day, in terms of expenditure pattern, you come to the realization that it costs that government more than what is costing this government. And I'll give you a typical scenario. Most of our MPs, between 75 to 80 to 90% of them are members of parliament. Remember that the constitutional requirements dictates that government ought to appoint about 50% from parliament. But this government has gone beyond that and taken a chunk of them from parliament. This is how it is. You realize that if you're a member of parliament, you're already taking a salary. The moment you become a minister, you have a top-up of just about either 1,000 or 2,000 to make up for your position as a minister. However, if you are picking somebody who is not a minister, who is not a member of parliament, but just an ordinary member within the society, and positioning the person as a minister, the person is now going to take the entire salary from the scratch. So you realize that when you do that mathematics and do the analysis, it is costing this country and this government less in terms of expenditure on government officials, in terms of expenditure on the ministers that we have now. Because if somebody is a member of parliament and parliament has facilitated a person in securing accommodation, this time around that person is not going to get another accommodation from this government, because already the person has been taken care of by parliament. If the person is being paid like by parliament, that person is not going to take ministerial salary. You are not going to see the double salary that became a common feature during the NDC region. It tells you that there's a single purpose in terms of the minds of the president to make sure that in terms of cost to the nation, we have value for money in every sphere.
Okay, Richard, I'm grateful. Let me quickly get on the phone lines and speak to one of ministers involved in the reshuffling. Kojo Ponkroma is removed, is becoming the substantive information minister. He's just joining me via phone lines. Kojo, good morning. Grateful for your time.
Right, good morning. Good morning to your colleagues in the studio and your viewers as well.
Right. And so, first of all, congratulations for the, if you want to call it, upliftment. Now, what might have gone into this kind of reshuffling? We've seen swapping, we've seen some brought home, we've seen some sent out. What actually went into it?
Well, you know that if you read Article 78 of the Constitution, it says clearly that the president shall appoint ministers to assist him in executing his function. And the interpretation of that is that depending on where you are in your journey as a president and what you want to achieve, you will, may I use the football expression, play a particular formation and play people in particular roles to achieve your objective. So the president is 1.5 years into his tenure. He's of the view that he has to make these limited shuffles at this point in time to get his team to deliver what remains on the agenda currently. And so this shuffle is driven strictly by the fact that the president needs to align people to certain specific roles to get what he wants done, especially on the back of the exit of our senior Ms. Abuachi Ijakun. And it is our hope that all of us who have been reassigned will give it our utmost best so that the president's agenda is fully achieved by the time it is done.
How would you address the concerns of some Ghanaians who, before the reshuffle, were suggesting that government takes a look at the number of ministers in office?
I know that, for example, is a narrative that has been principally pushed by the media. Severally, it's been pushed by some of our opponents. It's been pushed by people in civil society and the population generally, or may I say elements of the population generally. But, you know, we have always explained that, first of all, we hear everybody in good faith when you say that you think the size of government or the size of the ministers is large. We hear you in good faith. But we also understand that what you are saying is that you are afraid that it will be an undue burden on the public purse. And as I heard my colleague Richard say in the studios a few minutes before I got on the line, the president, cognizant of that fact, has put in place measures to ensure that we are actually doing more with less. The ministers, as have been appointed by the president at this point in time, are not costing us what we fear. Because, as has been mentioned, about 60 to 70 of these ministers are members of parliament, and they don't cost us any extra. Fancy that to another scenario where you even have a lower number, but who are non-MPs, or who are mostly non-MPs, or who also cost us double salaries or double cost at the point in time. So the real fear that the people are expressing, which is that we fear that this will be an undue burden on the public purse, that one is being managed. But with this number, that is how come you have seen in the first 1.5 years our ability to deliver on the first part of the agenda. In fact, if you read the MPP's manifesto, the very first 2-3 paragraphs tells you that all the things that we say we will do require a strong economy first. And in the first 1.5 years, you have seen how we've been able to stabilize your fiscal situation, stabilize the macro situation, build that foundation, and now the attention is to push on our development programs and ensure that they are fully executed so that the benefits that Ghanaians are looking for, they're able to achieve it at the end of the day. So we hear you in good faith. Where we have to do those adjustments, the president is never scared to do those adjustments. This president is a president who takes even the most difficult decisions. Where we hear you and we can achieve the objective in another way so that it doesn't cost us money, but we get enough people to deliver on the mandate as well, the president ensures that we do so.
Finally, some have suggested that there is a rift, a seeming rift between you and your boss, and that his moving to the inner city and Zongo ministry is a demotion, and yours is a promotion.
Absolutely not. And anybody who comes up with that line either does not know the inner workings of the information ministry and the relationship between myself and my outgoing boss, or is just being mischievous. It was the Honorable Dr. Mustafa Abdullah Admi who initially mentioned me to the president to come and take over from him during the transition. A lot of people don't know this because maybe we are not ones to be talking about things outside. It was the Honorable Dr. Hamid who told the president, when the president asked him that choose one out of the deputies that I'm going to give you, you choose one slot, I'll give you a few more. he mentioned my name without a doubt. When he came here as minister, as I worked with him, he's the one who literally taught me political communication. And indeed, when the president assigned him a new role that he was going into and asked him, who can replace you, again, he mentioned me. So anybody who says that either doesn't know or is just being plain mischievous, I am eternally grateful to him. I'll continue to count on his guidance and his support, as I will count on the guidance and support of all other former ministers of information who have already been assisting and supporting us, as I'll count on the guidance and communicators, spokespersons, and people across the country who help us to disseminate the government information and receive feedback for government.
Coach, I'm grateful for your time. Good morning once again, and once again, congratulations for being made a substantive Minister of Information. Coach Nkrumah gets that position after Dr. Mustafa Ahmed has left to another ministry. Fred, so you've heard Richard about the talk about downsizing. You heard Kojo also on the talk about downsizing. Now, these were some of the concerns that people raised before the reshuffle. So the president perhaps feels that, hey, I need the men to work with. So we can conclude that indeed we're not likely to see any downsizing.
Well, Brian, thank you very much.
Not necessarily.
In terms of numbers.
Thank you very much. Let me say good morning to your cherished viewers. I think that everybody can give a justification for whatever action he or she decides to take. If you be the armed robber on the streets, he will give you a reason why he decides to go into armed robbery. A prostitute will tell you why he goes into prostitution. And so all the reasons that have been adduced this morning as to why the president can increase the number to whatever level he wants can only make sense to do themselves. But I don't think that the general public is happy with the number of minutes that we have looking at our population. And I am so sad that in spite of all the complaints from Ghanaians, the president had decided once again to increase the number by 1. And we have been told this Monday he has not finished the reshuffle. I don't know what is going to happen in the coming days if they are going to increase the numbers again. Now, this argument that majority of the ministers are MPs and so we are not spending so much on them, it's neither here nor there. Expenditure on a minister is not limited to only their salaries. And as he rightly said, if you are a member of parliament and you are appointed as a minister, there's a top-up that is given to you. It's additional income that comes to you, and it's money that leaves state coffers. And so that argument does not hold water. The treatment that is given to a minister is far, far different from that which is given to a member of parliament. Your vehicle, your accommodation, your traveling expenses, and everything that is given is accorded to you as a minister is far different. I think that the people of this country have spoken very loud and clear that, Mr. President, you can do with a lesser number than what you have now. But as usual, the president thinks that he's a man in the driving seat, and so he wants to do whatever that he likes. The question that majority of people are asking is this: with all this number of people that you appointed, point to us exactly what you have done with it. Now, information minister, where our good friend Kojo is taking over now, the substantive minister, 3 of them were there initially as deputy ministers. What was happening there? What were they communicating? What were they telling Ghanaians? Every now and then we hear them, that the minister comes to say this, a deputy comes to say something else, another minister from another department comes to say something else. What has changed? Somebody was appointed to be in charge of sanitation and what have you. What has happened to our sanitation in the country since? As we speak now, just drive around Accra. And it's so sad. This is the president that promised that he's going to make Accra or deliver Accra as one of the cleanest cities, not even in Africa, but the whole world. But today, go to even our market centers and see what you see around the place. So what happened to Dabaga ministry? You have a ministry like monitoring and evaluation, whatever that it is. What is happening there? What are they monitoring? Every now and then we are hearing scandals almost every day, one scandal or the other. So you ask yourself, what is that they are monitoring? Another one they call procurement, headed by I think the deputy majority leader. What is happening at that ministry? Ministers are still going about doing their own work, doing whatever that they want to do. So clearly, this is a president that is just interested in satisfying his party members. They have helped him to win political power. Let me compensate them. Let me give them an appointment. That is what that is happening. Otherwise, there's nothing that Ghanaians can really point to that since we came into office, you have been able to deliver this thing. You have been able to bring something good to the lives of the people of this country. Go around. If you finish, send your players to go and talk to Ghanaians across the divide. And you'll be surprised the things they'll tell you. I'm surprised you're 16 years this morning talking about this so-called free SHS. Look at what it has become. Mothers are wailing, mothers are crying in their houses. You are going to, can you allow me to make myself?
Richard Alan, you do not think that these are programs that certainly will
right, as a father, are you not sad Yes, are you not sad what this government is doing to our education? A government that does not care about the future of this country. A girl child has finished GSA, want to go to a secondary school, must stay in the house for some number of months. The colleagues must go and finish one term and come back. They also move. This musical chairs that they are doing to education. If you are a mother, are you not sad? What will happen to these children, young girls in their formative ages? Majority of them, only God knows if they will be able to withstand their male counterparts putting pressure on them for all manner of things.
Government says it's the best option. What could have been done in the face of what?
Do you believe, Bright? Do you believe is the best option? Do our viewers believe it's the best option? Do I believe it's the best option? The answer is no, you don't. I know you don't. Our viewers don't. And the sad thing is that even when we engage MPP members behind the scenes, they are so sad.
What are you
talking about? Of course, they don't have the confidence to come on radio and say.
Well, that's a private conversation.
That's what I'm saying. It's a private call. Can you allow me, gentlemen?
Rachel, I'll come to you.
Why are you so impatient?
Fred, go.
When you engage them behind the scenes, they themselves admit to the fact that they have disappointed Ghanaians. Talk to them.
What are you talking about?
They have disappointed Ghanaians so badly. And so I am so sad. I don't know what the president intends to achieve. I'm sad to hear the minister designated for information saying that they promise they are coming to stabilize the economy. Things are moving on very well. What is happening to our economy today?
Some stability has been recorded.
Where?
What
on paper?
Analysts are saying.
On paper? Go and check other international organizations, what the projects they are making. Debt to GDP this morning I was checking, it's almost 72%. Meanwhile, government is giving a different figure back here in Ghana.
That's not true.
Go and check. And so, what stability have we seen? Look at the relation between the cedi and the dollar today. Where is the dollar? The dollar has broken jail and the cedi has broken jail and it is just running. The president cannot chase, the vice president cannot chase after it. So what is that they are talking about? Today as we speak, go back to Abosokai. The people they deceived, they brought out public address system to enjoy music. They claim that everything is going to be fine for them. Go there today and talk to them. Talk to truck drivers, talk to transit drivers. As we speak today, UTAC, they are saying that they are going on strike. They are going to lay down their tools. Doctors are threatening everybody, industrial. You all hear what is going on around the country. And so you can sit in your party headquarters, you can sit in your comfortable offices and say that's for you. Everything is moving on very well. You have delivered on what you promised. So you can continue to treat Ghanaians with impunity. Increase the numbers. We don't care if you like, you can increase the number of ministers to 200. That is your own business. But the good thing is that Ghanaians will get the opportunity. And that time is not too far away from today. Come 7th December 2020, Ghanaians will get the opportunity. It will be the greatest miracle under the sun if MPP's mandate is renewed in 2020 elections. Ghanaians are so disappointed. Go to the agriculture sector. They have a minister there, we have several deputies. Go and find out what's happening in the agriculture sector. Go and ask. Everything is suffering. Ghanaians are suffering. Nothing is happening in education. Nothing is happening in the health sector. Even the hotel we have built, just open the app, populate the place, that one has become a problem. You can't fix anything. The projects that we initiated, you can't complete them. Nothing. And every day we are increasing numbers of ministers, appointees here and there. Just satisfy your own party people. Go ahead and do it.
All right.
Richard, maybe where you see today, you don't understand, you don't know. You are not in touch with the reality. But I am telling you that Ghanaians are suffering. Ghanaians are disappointed. Ghanaians have regretted so much that they wasted their time and energy on that fateful day to go and queue and vote for your government. Your government has disappointed everybody. And the sad thing is that you have become a government that does not listen.
Okay.
Bright, to conclude on this issue.
Yeah,
this
issue
for me.
You've been concluding for the past 5
This
minutes.
I am not surprised it came at this time. Clearly it's a diversion. We all know what has happened with this Ameri issue. The government is so embarrassed. The president himself is so embarrassed about what they have plotted to take away from the people of this country, but for the vigilance of civil society organizations and the minority. I don't know where it would have been today. The amount of money that would have ended up in people's pocket. So let's throw something in this musical church. Otherwise, you go and tell the minister in charge of gender and social protection, you demoted her to a deputy minister position and send her to Italy to go and sit at Italy. You move a minister of Zongo, whatever it is, and take him to the vice president office to go and do what? Go and be reading newspapers? What work is there for him to go and do? Go to the vice president office and check the number of people who are there.
Was doing?
Go and check the number of associate people who are there, who are working at the vice president's office. Right. So what is this new nomenclature you call minister at the presidency, at the vice president? What is the meaning of that? What are you supposed to be doing over there? Creating all manner of titles and offices that has not yielded any result to the people of this country. I think that Ghanaians are disappointed. This is not what Ghanaians voted for. Please, Mr. President, pay attention to Ghanaians. This musical chairs,
just to cover up the American thing that just happened. Ghanaians will not buy into it. We are wide awake. We know what we are doing. We can read. We can understand the game plan. And nobody will buy into it. This thing that you attend that, oh, the cost of ministers is coming down. It is not true. It's a lie. You are spending so much. Bring out the expenditure. Let's see it. Let me get Richard to respond. So, Richard, he raises two key issues. Now, the suggestion that spending is down because these ministers are also MPs, and also the fact that he's asking what have these ministers done so far.
I think, Bright, it's completely ludicrous and also extremely upset to hear my friend Fred speak about what he claims to be Ghanaians and mothers crying because government has decided to increase enrollment and also make sure that our oil resources, is not put into the pocket of politicians, rather invested in the teeming youth and the younger generation. I'm extremely upset and quite saddened by that sort of thinking. It tells you where the NDC is coming from. That's for a government to consider the fact that he will not look at education and place monetary premium on that, and that will go into decide who gets access to education or gets access to our schools. That person is making mothers cry. I can't understand that. If hadn't been Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo free education, every year, particularly this year alone, we're going to see in excess of 182,000 Ghanaians not getting access to education. Is Fred saying that it was okay, we should push these people out of the system and just focus on the few people who can pay because their parents are being blessed with money? We should use education to decide, money to decide who gets access to education. The president says, you know what, we will not allow the oil resources to be appropriated like it happened during the NDC, where some of them was used for bus branding, where oil money that was supposed to be used in constructing projects, hospitals, schools were non-existent. However, the monies have been expended. The president said, no, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to make sure that this money goes into education. I'm going to make sure that our resources we dedicate it to education. And right, you can tell me, every family in this country is literally benefiting from this free education. Every family. Look at the amount of money parents are paying per semester or per term. 4,000, between 3,000 to 4,000. These monies are literally going into people's pocket because of the president's intervention. With the first budget that the president brought, the Juma and Asempa budget. The Asempa budget gave this government and the good people of this country some moment of respite, where about 14 taxes, about 9 of them were completely scrapped. Some of them were reduced. When this government came into power, we've not increased any tax. This man was talking about Bosoka. I don't know which Bosoka has been going. Just recently, they had a press conference thanking the president for living up to his word. Just not long ago. So I'm so baffled by this thinking and where he gets this sort of idea from. After the NDC headquarters, I know they are suffering. They are suffering in paying their bills. They are suffering because they were getting free monies. These monies are no more coming. That is why they will be suffering. But in terms of the good people of this country, they know that they voted for a president who cares, the president who understands how to make sure that the good number of Ghanaians get access to jobs. Look at NAPCO. For the first time, a president comes in, so you know what? For people, graduates, or degree and diploma holders, I'm putting in a measure as a stopgap measure for them that will guarantee them something, some slight thing, some token every month to survive them whilst they look for other employable opportunities. Others will be receiving training. Where about 100,000 Ghanaians are getting access to jobs. What did they do about it? What kind of innovative ideas did they come up with? It tells you that when it comes to the MPP, my brother, our desire is to make sure we reduce the burden of every single Ghanaian, even the forgotten part of this country.
So this is what the numbers are doing.
No, so that, of course, right, of course. In terms of the numbers, when we came to meet terrible financial situation. I mean, look at the current financial mess we find ourselves within the financial sector. All these things were things that happened during the NDC regime. It's taking this government to clean the system, bring some level of belief in the system.
So that is what the
you saw.
Is that it?
No, I'm just giving you a good number of things.
You
see, right? I don't want you to be. I don't want you to be pigeonholed into the NDC propaganda. No, that there are a good number of things we can see. I get you. I get you. Of course, I'm telling you something that you can go to every sector by sector, and look at the kind of achievement that has been done within this short period. Look at going to every single sector. You go to a railway subsector. You see the massive work that is happening. That has not happened during any regime's tenure. You go to the road sector, you see what is happening. You go to the aviation sector, you see what is happening.
Let him tell you what is happening.
You
see what is happening.
Please.
Let him tell you what is happening.
Fred, I allowed you a moment. When you were busily lying all over the place, I also allow you to go ahead with your lies and the propaganda, which was cheap though. But right, the most important thing, the most critical thing too, as when it comes to these numbers is that I did indicate earlier on that we have a chunk of these ministers being members of parliament already.
That issue of spending.
Yeah, in terms of the expenditure. And right, when you're a member of parliament, you're entitled to a couple of things. Beyond your salary, you have accommodation. So mostly members of parliament, what happens to them is that government pay for their rent or give them rent allowance.
A loan.
No, that's no loan. It's the car that becomes a loan. Rent, government pays for their rent. So if you're a member of parliament and you become a minister and you've already received a rent allowance, you do not get another rent allowance from government. If you're receiving a salary, and I'll tell you, if a member of parliament is receiving 1,000 cedis, minister will be receiving 1,001 or 1,002. So it tells you that
you agree there is a top-up.
There's a top-up. I did indicate earlier on, but I'm telling you that when you do the analysis and look at how much it costs the MPP now, and compared to how much the NDC, the NDC was spending on their ministers, NDC will start spending more. So that's the first point. So your point is that
what you are spending on 110 ministers is less than what was spent on 85 ministers.
Right, yes, of course, right, of course. And beyond that, right, I want us to look at this.
Right.
Let's see. In terms of
viewers are the same.
Of course. Right.
So you are not sure you are lying like that.
So when you look at
you
are completely ignored.
You're beautiful fellow.
Right. When you look at our constitution, what does the constitution enjoins the president of the republic to do? To appoint people that would help him achieve the goals or the agenda he set his mind up to do. But if you appoint 10 people and at the end of the day, we still have the doom so that we witness under the NDC. If you appoint 10 people and we had the kind of financial situation we find ourselves where DKM and its siblings, God is life and the rest, where the good people of the Brungafu region, my people, some of them lost their jobs, some of them lost their life savings, some of them lost their marriages, families were broken as a result of the fact that there were not proactive measures put in place by the Bank of Ghana and the managers of the economy to make sure that their investments were saved. With what number? If we have what they call a small number, when judgment debts were paying all over the place, when the lives of William got in excess of $35 million, when these monies could have gone into construction of roads, building of hospitals across board, they call that they had a small number. When you have a small number where we're being told that the then president of the republic has even his vice president be checkmated because he felt that monies that were supposed to be used for Ambria and other things were literally being squandered and it was going into people's pocket and were spending huge sums of money on things that were not necessary. So when we talk about small numbers,
the large number has come to
people were duping the country. And you see, the large numbers has come to clean up the system, giving us some level of development across board. And I'm saying that the president is still in the process of making sure that he realigns things. So if you are sitting here today and you are happy that it's 110 and tomorrow it turns out to be what will you say? So let's allow the president. We have a mandate. And that 4-year mandate, let's allow the president to work on the one district, one factory, one village, one dam, as it's being done across. Right, let me tell you.
No,
a minute. Let's give me a minute. me a minute.
I'll come back.
Just grant me a minute to make this point. Let me land.
It's not quiet. Allow me to just catch your breath. I'll come back to you. Let Fred react to some of the issues that you have read. Richard, I'll come back to you tonight. Let Fred react to some of the issues that you read. Okay, Fred. Richard, please allow him.
I want you and your production team to do the viewers a favor.
Okay.
Please, he said he doesn't know that Abosoka that I go to. Take your cameras to Abosoka.
You can go there.
Please do us a favor.
Okay.
If for nothing at all, I'm sure your sister station, Joy, Multimedia, they've been there. I'm sure you've seen the video. I have a copy. I can even give you one. But for the benefit of that, take your cameras to Abosoka, just around
when was the video?
And go and engage.
Just recently.
Go and engage the traders over there. What is he saying about President Mahama? They has done what? They decided to retool the military. That is crime. Is there any report anywhere in the world that said that? Please, can you allow
Richard, please allow him.
President Mahama has...
Richard Asante, please allow Fred.
Former President Mahama investigated on the purchase of the embryo.
Richard Asante, what Mahami is not a special prosecutor. He can go ahead.
Of course, that's what I'm saying. These are known facts. People are watching that. But these are known facts. These are known facts. That the Vice President, Mr. Mahama, was investigated by President Mills because of this embryo jet and the cost to the nation.
Please allow Mr. Matnami to do his work. Fred, please go on.
You see, you can say whatever you want to say about President Mahama. The people of this country today are crying for his comeback.
What do you do?
The people of this country today can compare the work of President Mahama to all others that we have had, especially in the Fourth Republic. And the man stands tall. You can denigrate him, you can call him name, you can fabricate your own stories and belief. It is your government and your president that is in power today. The corruption on daily basis, everybody is saying it.
Where is the corruption?
And in this case, it's not just about the ministers and the rest. The presidency proper.
Where's the corruption?
Presidency. You were told in this country that before you go and see the president, you have to go and pay some knocking fee, some gate fee. You were told at the point that before you go and sit by a president, you need to pay for the seat, $100,000 and beyond. This thing that they have sacrificed, Honorable Ajaku for the married deal, the president is deep neck, is involved.
You have the evidence.
He gave the clearance. He gave the clearance. He gave the executive approval. He gave. What is this discipline? Can we show respect to our viewers? Can we show respect to our viewers?
Richard,
I was sitting for you to lie.
Richard, please allow him. You're distracting.
The president was the one who gave the executive approval before the thing was sent to the parliament. But just so he can clean himself, he has sacrificed an innocent, hard-working man.
Well, that is what you think.
That is what I think. That's what Ghanaians think. That's what the people of this country are saying all over the place. So I don't expect anybody for AP's talk today to have the courage to come into national television and talk about corruption. What has happened to the Ken bond? Till date, do you even know who owns some 15% of the shares? Have you been able to tell us of the bond? Do we know who owns it?
Because you don't know.
What happened at Boss?
When the
president was called upon, he himself came and cleared the man. The man has done nothing wrong. Today, where is Alfred Obi? So please, don't talk about corruption. Don't talk about it. Your government is thinking. It is too early. Ghanaians are worried. Thinking. So, Brad, coming back to the substantive issue of the appointment and the number of ministers that they have appointed, I am saying that this government has nothing to show to the people of this country. Nobody is saying that Ghanaians should stay in the house and not go to school. Ghanaian children who are school age should be in school. But this thing that you are visiting on the people of this country, I'm telling you, parents are sad.
Which thing?
I am telling you, see, go to our schools today, know what is happening. Those students who today are going to the third year, last time they were in second year, they go to a dining hall first. Second year, third year, they go to the dining hall first to go and eat. When they finish, then the first is what I cook for those children now, come in. Then you hear the teachers, but you say you want everything cheap. Now go and eat. So children are supposed to take 2 ladders of maybe rice. Now they serve them 1. The children came back home, asked most of their parents. It's only their hairs that are left. They've grown so lean. They are not even getting the food to eat. Their hairs are not left. And then you sit here and tell me, your government, I'm serious. Talk to parents. Now look at this thought thing they are introducing. The shift system that we struggle so hard to eliminate. That we saw our kids in the morning. You see them, they tell you I'm in the afternoon shift. You see them, they have to say I'm in the morning shift. They don't go to school and they are misbehaving all over the place. NDC administration, the investment that we did in expanding infrastructure, that all these keys, the Millennium Projects in Accra here, that we did, so that all of them can be in school at the same time.
you have succeeded in taking secondary education back to that level.
Fred, would you
a shift system? And you tell us that we should be proud of your government. Government, these children were not right.
Would you commend government for cleaning up the financial sector?
Which financial sector?
The banking industry.
Every country, America not too long, they went into the recession. We saw what happened to several companies. What prudent government that are visionary, government that want to build and sustain the economies is to support the institutions to grow, to come out of whatever challenge that they are into. You don't collapse them. I'm sure you saw the letter that this so-called coalition of banks, whatever, wrote to the workers of these banks, telling them that they have given them 60 days to be at post. Then they will determine their fate as whether they are going to remain there or they are going to sack them. What is going to happen eventually is that most of them are going to be laid off. You are creating more unemployment. This is a government that came to office on the back of creating employment for Ghanaians. Banks are suffering. Help them to come up. What do? You have used your own vehicle, your cousins and the rest, your own people in the data banks, and you have taken over. You know the things that we are doing. If you don't know, we know the things that you are doing. So please, yes, let's assume I don't understand. Let's assume all these things.
The man does not appreciate these things.
Who is the one heading this institution? Go and find out. These are things that we know. These are things that we know. Now the whole financial, the banking sector is very close to the president, very close. The brothers, you all know what is happening. So you go ahead and collapse the banks. When you finish, tell us that we are in a challenge. Every society goes through a challenge. Every organization, every institution goes through a challenge. When they do, so the state must support them to stand up.
Your suggestion is that rather than collapsing the bank, we should have supported them to revive whatever was...
right, don't you also think same? Don't you also think so? Right. We should lay workers off. People should become unemployed. Right. Is that what they are proposing? Now he's telling us about the things that happen. This so-called microfinance in Brown half origin employment that he created for people. Bank of Ghana couldn't have regulated activities of those institutions because those people never operated as microfinance organizations. They were voluntary organizations. And so Bank of Ghana did go and check.
Go
and check, please. No, if you go to our churches, maybe have men fellowship, that people contribute money and give to. That's how they were operating. So Bank of Ghana didn't have any mandate. Today we are in this country. You just Bank of Ghana just issue a statement that there's one such institution operating, whatever. I don't want to mention their name, and that they are cautioning people. Have you been able to close them down? Have you been able to close them down? Have you been able to close them down? You are in government. All Bank of Ghana is going to issue infractions, issue letters here and there. Right, I am saying that, you see, this man is so impatient. I am saying that, I am saying that this government has failed woefully. This government has proven that they are so incompetent. This government has proven that if you give them 20 years in that, they can't do anything. They have just come to line their pockets. This is a government. So I'm a layman. I don't. You do.
Because but the point is that
even you see, these are the things they told us. They have the men. They are coming to revive the economy. They are coming to build the economy. Look at you are taking the country too. The city is running. You are collapsing banks. You are creating unemployment. You are sitting here telling us that your government is doing well. What are you doing?
Right.
Traders cannot even pay. Everybody is crying. You are here saying you are doing well.
Unfortunately, we'll hit the top of the hour so quick. I'm wondering. It's almost 8 o'clock. You're giving him more than enough time. And
after you have said all the things that you want to lie on this platform.
Let's wrap up.
He lied on this platform. Let's wrap up. It's one of the lies that he told. One of the lies that he told. That the salary that the 85 ministers took is far more than what the warrant. That is 111. It's no more 110. There is now 111 ministers. You come and sit here and tell us that
you know, people have been saying that this bank should be helped to stay afloat
instead of collapsing.
You know what has happened over the period? When Bank of Ghana talks about liquidity support, it's meant that they were receiving some injection of capital.
You come and sit here and give us a lecture.
Over the period.
You are not coming to lecture. You are collapsing the bank, so you are coming to give us a lecture.
For most of these banks that were in this situation, they receive such liquidity support from Bank of Ghana to help them stay afloat. What did they do with those monies?
Some of them.
What did they do with those monies?
Some of them. What about the rest?
Do you understand that?
Okay.
All of them, not some of them. What did they do with those monies? So it tells you that in terms of whatever help that would be done, the government over the years have done that, and they were not able to stay afloat. But in order to protect deposit money, that is why it's costing this country more to even do what this government is trying to do.
Right,
so the depositor will not be in distress. So I'm surprised this man is busy saying to you guys don't understand and appreciate. But to make a last point on this.
Which last point again?
I think we need to understand and appreciate what this government is doing.
You're not doing anything.
Fred,
he does not understand
they
it.
are not doing
If
anything.
government is saying that
This
I will not let
government is not doing
182,000 people or children stay on the street to sell dog chains, and I'll make sure they go to school, and government will pay for it. You do not appreciate it. So be it. But we know that giving the strongest indication that when you guys come, you scrap this free education.
We have said
and that has been your desire. But the president of the public
for your time.
the people benefit from all resources.
The stakeholders.
You make sure the people benefit from what stakeholders.
We will
not
Deputy Communications Director of the NDC. Gentlemen, I'm grateful for your time. We couldn't discuss the Krobo University issue.
Instead of doing the neighbor of Krobo land, they have taken the university, something that has gone to Parliament. Parliament has passed a law that the first campus must be on the Krobo land. They are taking it from there, very close to the president's hometown.
But the minister of state in charge said that nothing has changed and that
have they gone to Parliament to amend the law?
The people have been deceived.
Have they gone to Parliament to amend the law?
Fred,
the law says that the first campus should be around Dodowa area there. The second one should be around Afram place. Then they said
Yanka said that Bunsu is just a satellite campus.
So why are you not building the first one?
Okay, so
the traditional campus was supposed to be at the Krobo land. Why are you not building that one first? Okay. You have not. The law says the first campus should be there, the second one should be around a front place. Then you can build subsequent campuses or the satellite campuses. How can you have neglected these two and you have built the one close to the president's hometown? You think somebody is a kid in this country?
All right.
I think that the people of the Krobo land are not angry enough.
Unfortunately, they are not angry enough.
The people of Krobo land are not angry enough. They should get angry enough.
This NDC guys.
Not NDC guys. You think the people of Krobo land, they are not human beings. They are not Ghanaians. They don't understand.
You are stay with us. We're back in a moment with all the action from the world of sports. Stay right here on TV3.
So happy birthday to Dion Boyka on Twitter. He's been disturbing. Says we should mention it as people are watching. So Dion, happy birthday to you. But that's the story of Jason. Jason says he is rich. He has all the wealth, all the flash and cash, but he has no woman in his life. And he's been wondering what the problem exactly is. I've been joined in studio by Councillor George Lutrot and Portia Minanokobia-Kobna. Welcome. Portia, how are you doing?
Hi, thank you, sir.
Is Jason's situation a thing that you perhaps have come across?
I should think so. Most guys are scared.
They are scared?
I think
of
they are scared.
What? Of women like you?
Not women like me per se, but they are scared of girls who come and take advantage of them, pretend to be who they are not, pretend to be who they want them to be, and then after they are with them for a couple of time, for some time, they get married to them, and after 6 months, they're like, I want a divorce, because she knows she gets to get an alimony, gets most of his property, something he worked hard for. Okay. So I'm sure they are scared of losing their monies.
So what, they are what, slay queens in disguise? What are they?
Everybody wants to be comfortable in life.
I see.
Yes.
Councillor, is this real?
No, I'm shocked she's saying this.
Why are you shocked?
Hey, people should play back her tape for her.
Why are you shocked?
I sat with this girl here. I said it's better for you to marry a national service guy who is struggling to make it than to go and marry someone who is well-to-do. But you say everybody wants comfortability.
Oh, but
you see what is happening in this world. This is why Tracy Success can speak now.
Oh, what has Tracy Success got?
Oh my God! The girls are making those more one girls to become troublesome because look, she's able to speak about men's gold because now she's Mrs. Sarkodie and me, Akosia V.
Okay.
A plus
is wife.
She too can come and speak now, and the other woman too can speak. Unfortunately for us,
but they couldn't speak. Before.
I mean, they've separated the girls from the women. If you are a baby mama, you don't comment on social issues.
Oh, but that's not fair.
Don't say it's not fair. This girl, have she spoken before?
Who?
I'm saying that. Did you hear Sarkodie's wife? Only on birthday she comes to post a small picture and go and hide. But ever since she became Mrs. Sarkodie, see what she's doing now.
What are you suggesting? That the marriage gave her confidence?
The marriage brought her up into the limelight. So the other girls who are B1, B2, born ones, get somebody to marry you so you can get comment. Look, I'll not be surprised.
For everybody.
Yeah, this is what the girl is telling us. Look, I'll not be surprised they'll make her a men's gold ambassador. She says she's not one. It is a bait. Hey, thank you for unveiling the secret. And for those of you girls all around, get somebody to make you a missus so you can comment on social issues, including consolidation banks. Okay, let me come back to my house.
So she says that this situation is normal. I'm asking you, you've been counseling people.
Well, if
is it normal?
If you say it's normal, it's not normal.
Where people are rich, they have it all, but they can't find that woman.
No. You see, when you say people are rich.
And vice versa. There are women who are also equally rich, well-to-do.
the men are not coming.
I mean, you remember Yvonne Okoro saying that the men in Ghana are timid.
Right.
They can't propose. You remember that?
I remember.
And then Juliet Ibrahim too made a similar statement like that. As for Juliet Ibrahim, I made a statement when he was flaunting that boy he was going out with, that you can't be kissing a boyfriend outside and all these things. People insulted me. I hear they've dropped each other like tissue. Oh. See, they should be careful. These are the issues I'm coming about. When you have money, be careful people don't use you and drop you like tissue, because tissue cannot be recycled.
Right.
But what I'm saying is that, like, people who are saying I'm rich, I am well-to-do, like this guy who just said I have 10 cars. He should be very careful, because very soon Bank of Ghana will come and call us
They consolidate him, man.
Because on TV. But what I'm saying, I mean, on the more serious side, what I'm saying is that if you see somebody says, I'm rich, okay, I'm well-to-do, I have everything, but I can't get a wife, the problem is not the women. Okay. This guy who spoke has a brain problem.
What brain problem?
Yeah,
but he's declaring his assets.
No, he's not declaring. It's not normal.
When
you hear people declaring their assets, they don't need wives.
What do they need?
They need girls like this who have to come and chop.
Is it true? Is it true?
In a way, I think he needs to use his wisdom and intuition.
So for you, would you take advantage of somebody like that?
It depends on how he approaches me. Okay. Sincerely.
If he explain. So how should he approach you so that you will not spend his money, or how should he approach you so that you spend his money?
It's the way you speak to me.
Like I want to learn.
Okay, so a man who wants a wife, who wants to share his vision with you, he wants to listen to you. Like when you make some comments, he wants to understand where you come from, your faculty. A man who needs a woman by his side, a real woman by his side, will want to get to know the woman more better.
I hope Bright is watching. I hope Bright is watching.
Okay.
He will relax, get to know you well before he even starts with, oh, let's date, let's be in a relationship. He wants to know you from a friendship perspective.
He's seen you, he likes you, he wants to grab you.
Then I would think he's looking more at the outlook than the inner me.
But would you rather inner you? Stop that deception that the church is putting you.
Okay.
No, I don't want to hear anybody to tell me inner beauty. I hate it.
Oh, but if you're nice, the
church is deceiving the girls. There's nothing called inner beauty.
Is it the church that proposes that?
That is what it's telling them. I have my inner beauty. But when you human being look very ugly and fight for it, say, don't mind my face. Inner beauty.
What is inner beauty? Has inner beauty.
Please, there's nothing like inner beauty. Don't say that. No man go.
So
please, don't say that. I'm here.
So tell me, what's inner beauty? For this guy, would you rather he comes to you like a pauper, he doesn't show his wealth? Would you rather?
It all depends on the guy. What he's
No, what do you...
Okay, with me, if you come either rich or poor, however you come, I would want to understand you. I want to know you and we have something in common. Our emotions should be alike. We should understand things on the same level. We should have some kind of connection. Should you come poor or rich? At the end of the day, I should know I can relate with you.
Would you drop your poor boyfriend for a rich
No,
boyfriend?
I won't.
The guy is watching.
I won't.
The poor guy is watching.
Okay.
He's
watching.
That's
why you won't drop him. That's why you won't drop him.
The poor guy is watching.
Okay, George.
The poor guy is watching.
But this situation,
if you drop after this show, Sunny Babashina, so don't worry. The poor guy is watching the girl.
But George, there are a lot of young people going through this, and in fact, people who are old, who have it all, but they can't. What's the problem?
You see, the problem is the upbringing. One. There's an upbringing problem. Upbringing problem in the sense that the way you are brought up, we're supposed to raise a man, a boy, and a husband. So you can't get to a stage of marriage and still be behaving like a baby. So that you are calling for help. Any man who, by any standard, will say, I've seen a girl, I love her, but I wanted to know I'm rich. So I'm going to go in Charlotte.
Right.
It's not normal. Has a brain damage.
It's not normal.
Yes. That's why I said this guy has a brain problem. And I'll break it down for you because I hear people say, if you go in your riches, it's not good. So disguise yourself. Go with Charlotte. Me, if you come to my house with Charlotte to come and take my girl who wear goodies, I'll sack you. So when some person
he's not qualified.
I mean, you are not qualified. This because God says man looks where? Outward. Right. Me, I don't look for inner beauty.
Okay.
Look, people are losing their husbands because you wake up at dawn, you look at your wife's face. You know there's a way you should sleep. If you're a daughter, they should tell you how to sleep because you can meet your wife's face and the way she's sleeping, it's not because she's just tired. But she looks frightful in bed. What do? You can't even touch her. You can lose your sexual potential.
And you don't have an x-ray to look at inner beauty.
It's a face. So your face alone shows us like a woman. How can you wake up and feel like your wife is dead because of the facial expression at sleeping mode? So you have to wake up from sleeping mode to standby mode. So I'm saying that, my brother, there's nothing like inner beauty. The way you are, the way so the way you are is what I'm carrying.
Okay.
If a man like this says he's rich, what is lacking is premarital counseling.
Okay.
Because one, every woman must enjoy the wealth and riches of a man. That is why if a man comes to marry you and wants to live in your house, it means that the two of you are not married. They are cohabiting, practicing a shower in disguise. You understand? So a man must come with wealth and money. And you have to work to it. But monkeys play by sizes.
Hold on.
So this young man is in the wrong place.
Hold on. Mohammed is on the phone line. Mohammed, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Mohammed, what's your take on this issue?
Oh, my take, I'm in support of Councillor Luchot. What he's saying, I'm in support of him. I really love him and I really support for everything he's saying.
But he has not finished saying what he's saying.
So if you're a girl and if you're a guy and you come to my house with Charlotte, I'll definitely sack you because you are coming to marry my daughter, and how are you going to treat her?
Mohammed, are you married?
I'm not married. I'm still young.
So do you have money or you fall in the poverty bracket? Where do you stand?
In the middle.
He has what it takes to buy credit for girls.
Okay. I don't have what it takes to buy credit for girls, but I'm in the middle.
But you do mobile money. You do mobile money for the girls.
Oh no, I don't do mobile money for the girls.
I hear you.
I'm not poor. I'm not rich. I'm just in the middle.
Okay, I hear. Thank you very much. So, would you go for somebody like Mohammed?
I will.
Portia.
If Mohammed has the same understanding as me.
So you have no taste?
You
have no preference?
I have preference. I have preference, but I would want to relax to get to know someone more. There's more to people than their outlook. That is with me. There's more to people.
So how long, for example, if somebody like Jason, he has the cars, everything else, how long would it take for you to know him to agree whether to marry him or not?
I won't take some things Jason does. If Jason wants to play the card of I am rich so I can get my way with anything I do, I won't take it. You ask me on a date, I come, you are not there, you keep giving excuses. I'm not supposed to take it in because Jason is rich. No, I'll call you out on things you are doing that I do not like. Jason, understand this. I am not a girl who will take this from you or take that from you. Do things as I want you to do. My standards, I'm not going to compromise.
So you want to control him?
Is that your son?
I won't control
him. Is that your son?
Okay.
Jason, I won't take this. Jason, Jason, I'm married for 15 years, and you say it's a prayer point.
Tina is in Adenta. Tina, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Hi, Tina. How are you doing?
I'm fine.
Tina, what's on your mind? Tell me.
Seriously, I really support country.
Okay, you support Councillor Lutrod.
Yes.
What exactly do you support? He said a lot of things.
About rich guys following their world.
Okay.
Yes, because I'm also dating a guy who is very rich.
Okay.
I broke up with him last week because he's using his money and like his wealth to brag.
But you don't like the money.
Yes.
You don't like the money.
Even our issue, he made a statement that I can get any girl that I want. You understand? And this situation that I've dated him for 1 year.
Okay.
And he goes for the girls and later on he will come and beg again. So I even told him that you can even go for all the girls in the whole wide world.
Okay.
But you still come back on your knees begging, and that would be too late for you.
So you broke up with him?
Congratulations.
Yes, just last week.
Wow.
Congratulations. Clap for yourself.
Anyway, Councillor is clapping. Thank you very much, Tina. So this is a very... This lady says...
She's in support of me, rather.
No.
Because I said...
No, listen to what she said.
You said you will...
This is a rich guy.
You will look at the guy, call him out.
You consult him and tell him.
She left the guy because the guy was bragging and wasn't... You see, she has a standard. She wants you to understand that I am first. You came for me. You saw all those girls.
She didn't call out the guy for negotiation. She just walked out.
Do you understand?
She walked out because he was bragging. He was saying, he can
But was he wrong to brag?
And she doesn't want to be substituted. She wants to feel like I am the one.
No, you are not a wife, please. Stop that thing. Don't do that.
No,
anyway, Afia is in
Afia, it's not right.
Afia, good morning.
Good morning.
Afia, speak to us. What's on your mind?
I think I go with what Councillor Luchot is saying and what the lady is saying too. I will give her 40%.
You give the lady 40%?
Yes.
Oh, and Councillor, how many?
I'll give her 85.
85%. Wow. Yes. I see.
So you don't like rich guys?
The rich can never find true love. That's what I'm going to say.
You say the rich can never find true love?
No.
How so? There are rich people who are married who found love. No. Or are they pretending?
But they are not happy.
Yes.
Ah, I see. Thank you very much, Afia. Have a great day.
So you see, when you see love and money, go for money. And the love will pop up.
Okay.
You don't go for love.
When you see love and money.
Go for money.
Go for the money.
And the love will pop up.
I disagree.
It's good for somebody to respect you because of your money.
Okay.
Than to disrespect you in the name of love because of poverty. Take it or leave it. Kennedy Japan will be the worst husband for you, but the peaceful man to live with.
Why?
As a husband. Because when you cough, you can go urinate in US and come back. Money speaking. Look, I tell you, it is better for you to be a second wife to a rich man than to be the only wife to a very struggling taste of this girl.
Adam Soa, talk to me. Good morning. Hello, Adam Soa.
Hello.
Yes, my brother. Talk to me.
Good morning.
Morning, sir. How are you doing?
I'm fine. The name is Ajan Soma from Wa.
Okay. Yes, sir. Welcome. How's Wa this morning?
Wa is good.
Right.
I think I somehow agree with Councillor, and at the latter part disagree with him too, because you mustn't disguise yourself totally to go in for a man or a woman.
Okay.
No, let's not forget that traditionally it's the man that is supposed to provide shelter, security in the sense of financial security for the rest of the family. So if you disguise yourself totally to the extent of wearing chalewati to go and look for a lady to marry, that security wouldn't be there, and that might end like pushing.
But what do you do if you?
Also, I disagree with Councillor when he said that there's nothing like inner beauty.
Okay.
The inner beauty is actually the core, the foundation of every marriage. It's the ability for you to forgive, the ability for you to sacrifice for the partners. So if you look at facial beauty and you go in, all that will perish in the matter of time. How many of us haven't married because of just the man looking stout and muscularly built, or the woman looking very beautiful, and then we cannot maintain the marriage due to our character. The character is what they call the inner beauty. So both goes. We mustn't totally disguise ourselves to get the life partner, but we should also say that there's nothing like inner beauty.
So what about
the marriage?
What about those who have been presenting themselves as they are, making a true state of their wealth known, and yet nobody wants to marry them because people are scared that, look, this man is too powerful, this woman is too rich and too powerful. I can't go on like that.
Yes, Councillor also said monkey play by sizes.
That's
you
right.
Understand? There are people who actually want to go with people who are moderate in life. They don't want extravagant life. Others too who are there and they are poor already, and they don't want to continue to be poor. They also want to use their daughters to kill the poverty in their family. So you also go look for that. You might be suffering because of you presenting yourself as who you are. But at the long end, you are actually going to get what you actually deserve in life. So let's be patient. Let's not rush over marriage. I encourage every young man and woman to get married, but they shouldn't rush.
Thank you very much. Adamswa, thank you very much.
But once you are rich, you can get the woman you want to get married to.
Okay, you can get any woman you want.
I mean, you can get the right woman.
But not necessarily someone who loves you.
No, you can get the right woman to marry you than when you are poor.
Okay.
You see, when at a stage in my life, doing my most of my
why is it hard for a poor person to get the love?
Because you see, a poor person, you don't even have 3 square meals. You don't even have 3 square meals plus common snack. More or less to think about taking care of this girl's pony, which even if it's not original, is human hair or fake hair, or no pay. So the truth is that if you have money, you get right people to marry you.
Okay.
Because a lot of people today who didn't have money then have not become rich. Some are pastors, some are CEOs. They've gotten to a position right now in their life that they want to change their wives, but they can't change them. Because where they were and they have grew together now, it can't go. So I'm saying it's better for you to be established.
Okay.
And use your establishment.
We've got to go.
To look for the right person that can manage what the weight you are carrying.
Okay.
10 cars, a woman who can drive your car and flaunt her weight in the car. Not somebody who will drive the car and start crying because somebody has scratched the car. People like that, they will kill you early.
Okay.
But this guy needs
serious
premarital counseling.
Okay.
So please, with 10 cars, I won't charge him so much. 0277 60 9644. But Malebla Onoba 0277 60 9644. Come and pay for services, and I'll change your destiny.
I see. Portia,
not like this.
I thank you very much. So 30 seconds for you.
Okay. I do not agree with Councillor
Okay.
I still feel like, as a girl or as a man who wants to marry, you can always marry who you want to marry. When it comes to character, your character should go along with your wealth.
Okay.
If your character is different, if your character is strong, it's the foundation of who you are, like integrity, empathy, everything is wrong about you. Okay. I don't think any woman in her right senses would go in for a man who is rich and does not have
that includes you.
Includes me.
Thank
yes.
you very
That's
much.
poverty mentality,
Councillor
but it's
George Lutrod and Portia Kobina have been my guests. We'll take a break. When we return, we'll have a very final conversation, and we'll call it a day here on New Day. Friday, we're wrapping up the conversation here, and I've been joined by Sasko, the man on your screens right now. He put up that special tramadol song in a bid to want to end the abuse of tramadol. Sasko, how be? Everything cool?
Everything cool, sir.
Why did you choose to use Shatawale's Gringo beat to create your tramadol song?
Yeah, you know, this Shatawale song is already a hit song.
Okay.
You know, and the youth love the song. So I thought, why not? If I use that one, maybe people will listen to me faster. So because the original song is already a hit. So that's why I chose.
How has the response been to this song?
Very, very massive. The response was like, I did not even expect that kind of response. Because when I posted this song, the first day I did the song, I posted it on Facebook, and the views like 5K.
Okay. On the first day?
The first day.
Wow.
You understand? So I thought, why not? And I was getting inbox from a lot of people. People giving me advice on how to go on the song and stuff. Yeah.
Is this your first song?
No, I have a lot of songs.
But they all didn't get hit.
Yeah.
It's just this one that's getting.
I have a hit like in my hood. I'm from Nima. I represent Nima. So I have a hit songs there.
In your hood.
Yeah,
but I'm talking about a national hit. This is your first.
No, I have Makuma.
Okay.
Which is everywhere.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay. So you decided to talk about tramadol, and I'm interested in the fact that you come from Nima.
Yeah.
The abuse of tramadol is in many places, including Nima.
Exactly.
Since you started this song, what is the state? Is it reducing? Is it increasing?
Yeah, it's reducing.
People are not abusing it anymore.
Yeah. You know,
how did you come to know that? Did you count the people before you started, and then?
No, you know, when we started this thing, it was the abuse of the tramadol was, you know, we are from the ghetto.
Okay.
Yeah, so we see what is going on.
Right.
You understand? So after this campaign and stuff, you know, the youth listen to us more.
Okay.
You understand? When we talk to them, they listen fast. So I think this song has an impact on the youth, and it has reduced. You know.
How, are you getting support from, say, the chiefs, the assemblymen, opinion leaders in Nima, Mamobi areas? Are you getting support from them to push this message out?
Actually, we're still on, but I've not gotten any from Nima, but I've got, you know, messages from big men in Ghana. Even the musicians. Yeah.
They also like it.
Yeah, they like the song. Yeah, and the creativity.
Would you say that this is a public service kind of song?
Yeah.
Would you say that you would follow through with these kinds of songs than, say, do love songs and all other songs?
Yeah, when you listen to me, when you go to YouTube, you said Sasko, all my songs, I make sure I sing about what is going on. What is going on in our community. I do more of live songs. Yeah. That's my kind of music. I
see.
Yeah.
So you want to see an end to tramadol usage?
Yeah.
And this song, you believe, would do that?
Yeah, it is doing it.
There's another song by Sasko called Makoma. Take a listen to this one briefly.
Took my brush and I water study on it. Someone crushed me, I say meaning on. As I turn angel for my herb. She says sorry, I say don't you worry. Without you my life is boring. Makoma. Fa, 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 fa. Makoma.
So that's Makoma.
Yeah.
Wow. That's another interesting video. This was shot where Ebri Gardens.
Ebri Gardens.
Wow. How much did it cost you?
You know, a lot.
They say when musicians talk about women, they're talking about the women in their lives. Is that your case?
No, it's not true.
You don't have a woman in your life?
I have.
Yeah. But you are not singing about her on this occasion.
You know, as an artist, you know, sometimes we don't think about us, you know, what goes around us. We sometimes use it and create a song.
So this one is about one of your friends whose heart was broken by somebody.
No, this is not a heartbroken song.
Okay,
this
it's about love.
Yeah.
True love.
Yeah.
True love.
True
I
love.
see. I thank you very much for coming, Sasko.
You're
Most
welcome.
grateful indeed. And we're wrapping up the whole show. So Vodafone has a very special one in celebration of our 10th anniversary. There's Donkomi. Now, it's just 10 pesos a piece for calls, 10 pesos for data, and you get to save. So it's more like they kick him a thing where you take advantage of the goodies we're giving you, and you also get to share with your family and friends. It's only a 10 pesos, is a 10 distinct. So go out there, subscribe to Donkomi, and enjoy on our 10th anniversary. Vodafone, the future is exciting. Are you ready? And that's how the cookie crumbles on TV3 New Day. Today, Friday. We'll be back again on Monday, but I'm going right on your radio on 3FM 92.7 for Community Connect, the award-winning show that's been nominated one more time for the RTP Radio Development Show of the Year. So we're going to be talking about a critical issue. The Fisheries Ministry has postponed the close season for marine fishing, but the plastics are still there. What happens to it? Let's talk about it on Community Connect, 3FM 92.7, right about now.
Last night it was a dream, this morning reality.